What's up, family? It's Jay Floyd, aka Big Bro. I just wanted to come chop it up with y'all, man. Welcome again to the family room. Thank you for joining my podcast, man. This is a really quick one, man. I'm gonna hit the housekeeping real quick. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all of my subscribers, man. The subscriber list is growing. It's growing slowly, but it's growing, man. You know what I'm saying? And baby steps is steps. You know, I gave speeches on that. Baby steps is steps. And I love every one of y'all, man. Thank you for even listening to what I got to say and trying to heal and grow, because that's what this show is all about. Shout out to all of my sponsors, man. Shout out to the Black Gentleman Grooming Company, man. They got my beard right. You know what I'm saying? It's coming along nicely. Yo, I just wanted to hop in here real quick and do another quick episode about, the last video that I posted, I believe it was last week. It's about 5-6 days ago. I got a ton of feedback, man. I got a ton of feedback from y'all saying that, the episode was about, hug your sons, fathers hug your sons. And I got a ton of feedback. I got way more likes, way more comments than usual, right? I got YouTube sent me an email like, hey, your numbers are up. So obviously that's a topic that was resonating, man. And I appreciate y'all because y'all came in with a lot of positivity. You know what I mean? Everybody came in shining a lot of light. And that's exactly what I wanted to do on this topic, because it was something when I saw the original comments to people posting, man, it was like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was in a bad state. Like, is this really where we at? You know, that men out here really don't want to be seen giving physical affection to their boys, man, to their sons. You know what I'm saying? But I came back on here because shout out to my homeboy, man, my homeboy Eric Troy, man. He posted a comment on Instagram, and he's like, yo, the sad part is that this is even a controversy, right? And that's a good point. Why is this even a controversy, right? And one of the things that I really like to do when we talk about topics like this, man, it's not like, that's why I said in the original, I'm not here to point fingers, but I want us to grow. I want us to heal, right? And I saw opportunity for us to heal on this topic, right? But this is not a moment for me to hop in like, yo, I hug my sons. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't, y'all messed up. Well, to Eric's point, all right, why is it a controversy? How did we get here, right? I'm just going to shine a little light. I'm not saying I got all the answers, but I'm just going to shine a little light from my life, my perspective, my experience. You know, it's been my experience that the root of a lot of this comes from the fact that, the whole concept of boys don't cry. Separating boys from girls when you're raising them, specifically in the Black community. Now, again, I ain't saying, I don't really know how other cultures and other races get down, but I know what I saw in the Black community coming up in Cleveland, Ohio in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. I know what I saw, right? And so I can say from our families, from our culture, our community, what I see a lot of it stemming from is that concept of boys don't cry. Let me separate the boys from the girls. Let me give a different treatment to each one of them. And I'm going to touch on each one individually, right? So first, let's go with boys. The way I have seen, in general, boys get treated coming up. We do get exposed to a lot of toxic masculinity. I know a lot of my dudes don't like that term. And I know I've even chopped it up and had conversations with some dudes who talk about the fact that they don't like that term. But I want to be clear. When you're saying toxic masculinity, you're talking about a toxic form of masculinity. You're not saying that masculinity is toxic. You're saying there's a way of expressing and expecting masculinity from boys that is toxic and has toxic results and effects and long-term effects and generational effects, right? And that is true. That has proven to be true. I stand by it. You may not agree with it, But if you don't, I challenge yourself to really go back to your childhood, really do some research on what toxic masculinity is and how it affects families, how it affects people, how it affects psyches and opinions, right? Parenting methods, how it informs your parenting methods. I challenge you to go back and really look at that. I know for a fact, a lot of the ways that I was raised was toxic masculinity was involved in that, right? The expectations of me, the expectations of the boys around me, a lot of that's just a fact of what it was, man. I'm not saying nobody's bad or good or bad parents, good parents, bad uncles, aunts. I'm not making those judgments, but I am talking about the fact, right? So if growing up, we're feeding into our boys, right? Like I said, I'm gonna address boys and girls separately. If we're feeding into our boys, one of the things that really puts a lot of fear and a lot of scares a lot of parents, especially in the past, but I think even so now, is the fear of your child, your boy being a homosexual. There's a fear of that, right? Now, if you're operating out of that fear, right there, it's real easy to see you go off into toxic masculinity, right? So if you could just logically make that connection, that if you're parenting out of a fear that your child may be something that you don't want them to be based on a bias, that you will try to do other things to construct them. Like I talked about last time, you're gonna try to be a carpenter. You're gonna pull out the hammer. You're gonna pull out the screwdriver. Bang, bang, bang. You're gonna try to build your child into what you picture in your mind as a man, which has been informed by society and bias, right? So you're gonna do things like stunt their emotional growth, right? Boys don't cry. Boys don't get emotional. Boys don't whine. Boys don't stay in their feelings. Boys use their body, not their feelings. I think we all have heard that, right? And eventually, even if a person's direct parent is not saying it, they're surrounded in a community and in a culture and in a society where it's said, right? Now, I want you to think about this. Okay, you stop somebody from crying just because of their gender. Your human body is designed to cry. You have tear ducts right there and some right over here, right? It's designed when you feel a certain emotion that water will flow. It's the way God built you. But because we associate that with softness and femininity and something not masculine, and we get turned off by the fact that a person that we expect to be masculine in a certain way would let the tears flow naturally out of their body. We stun them. Don't do that. Don't do that. So right there, we are giving an unnatural environment to this person, right? To this young being trying to grow. We're going to enforce an unnatural environment. I mean, imagine if you get a pet and your pet naturally likes to do something and you constantly stop them from doing it. You're going to change. You're going to stunt that pet. You're going to stunt that animal in a lot of ways, right? They're going to overcompensate in a way. You're going to see an effect, right? So if you do that to a child, and I want to challenge you with this, right? There are 22 toxins in our tears. 22. And God designed us that when we feel certain feelings, those tears come out and cleanse us of toxins. Take poisons out of our body that our kidneys and our endocrine system has filtered out of our blood. Poisons, toxins that need to come out. God designed it so that when we feel certain things, it can trigger this gate to open and let that water flow out that with all these toxins in it. The water cleanses us, washes us. But then we're going to tell half of our children, don't do that, because that makes you soft. So now they learn to stifle a natural cleansing, right? So they're holding in toxins. They're holding in toxic emotions. Emotions that need to come out. You need to process. You know what I'm saying? Which I always tell my clients, man, you grow through what you go through. Part of the problem in our society is that we have a hard time going through something. You know, we are down here on earth. We are heavenly beings. We are spirits that are having a human experience. And part of the human experience is that we're going to hit a lot of trouble The book of Genesis tells us, Adam, everywhere you step, you set foot, there will be thorns. You will have troubles, you will have pain. Adam, he told that to Adam. He didn't say that to Eve. He told it to Adam. You're going to have pain. You're going to be stepping on thorns. He didn't say don't cry. No. He told him everywhere you go, you're going to feel pain. That's what this life is all about. Then he spent the rest of the book saying, but I'm with you. Don't fear. I'm with you. I'm with you. Cry out to me. Cry out to me. It's all right to cry, man. So listen, we stunt our boys. And I say a collective we. I'm not pointing a finger at one person. I'm saying all of us. We all have to take a collective responsibility for each other. Like I say all the time, we have the tools. We have every tool to heal each other. Just like we have every tool to kill each other and hurt each other and harm each other and scar each other and shatter each other, which we've done for centuries and millennia. We've done that. But we have the tools to also heal ourselves. God has given us those, right? So collectively, we have to look at what we have done to men to make them say, what's wrong with old boy, Smokey Norfolk? What's wrong with him? Why is he holding us, a teenage boy? What he doing? What's wrong? I wouldn't do that. I saw one man that said, maybe my daughter, but I ain't about to hold my son like that. But why? 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 Right? Because it's embedded in our mind a bias that men, number one, shouldn't cry. What does that lead to? Men can't be emotional. Men shouldn't express their emotions and deal with them. Part of expressing your emotions and dealing with it is allowing yourself to break. And when you break, you need to be held. Right? We don't even allow ourselves that. We don't allow ourselves that. Part of receiving love is physical. Being held. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Being held. Just knowing somebody got you. As parents and fathers, I'm talking to y'all specifically. We as parents, we are the God model. For our child growing up, they can't see God. He's invisible. But they see us, the person God has blessed to be a parent to us. The God model. What kind of model are we? Do our kids get to see it's okay to show physical love? Do our kids get to see, hey, look, this is what it looks like to struggle and break and make it through. This is what it looks like to cry and process your emotions. Do we see any of those things? If not, and a lot of times it's not, that's okay. Listen, roll with me, y'all. I ain't trying to say y'all bad people, because I've been there and I still struggle in a lot of areas but I challenge myself in those areas too. Everything that I'm talking about, I submit to myself too. I look in the mirror and I wear it. I have a 3-year-old son. Am I afraid that my son will be a homosexual? Do I parent him out of that? Do I parent my daughter out of an opposite way? Do I parent them in a toxic way? I wear that. I put it on. I don't just say, nah, I'm good. I put it on. Every day I say, wait a minute. Am I doing this thing? Do I need to grow? Because I'm challenging us that we all need to grow. All of us. Yeah. So back to the original topic. Okay, a man sees Smokey Norfolk holding his son, says no way, shouldn't happen. Men should not hold their son. How did we get here? Number one, men are not allowed to they're not allowed to cry. They're not allowed to process their emotions. So what does that lead to? That leads to us, when a man tries to figure out, well, what should he do? Men are educated explicitly and implicitly. We get smart and we move. We get smart and we move. And how do we move? There's only 2 ways that we operate, right? Violently and sexually. Those are the 2 ways that the society, if you look across society, I don't care whether it's movies, I don't care whether it's music, I don't care whether it's talk show, I don't care, no matter what it is, the 90% of the stimulus that we take in tells a man you are supposed to be sexual and you are supposed to be violent, right? So that's how we learn to properly, those are the most accepted ways If you see a man being violent, there's nobody like, oh, that's not how a man's supposed to be. If you see a man getting sexual, there ain't no, nah, that's not how a man's supposed to be. But the moment you see a man get emotional, everybody says, ah, look at him, emotional. Emotional, nah, emotional. All my battle rappers know what I'm talking about. We ain't supposed to be emotional, right? So now, as a man growing up, you're taught that you're supposed to eliminate your emotions. Don't process them, don't cry. So I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna break down. So I'm not gonna go to anybody and have them hold me, even though I may need that. At my core, I might need that. Society told me that's wrong. Somebody might look at me and think something bad, so I ain't gonna do it, right? And then it also told me, if I do use my body, well, it's only in two ways, violently and sexually. So if my 16-year-old boy, son, comes to hold me, I'm gonna wrestle him. I'm gonna fight him. If it's not that, whoa, well, it must be sexual, right? Because those are the only two avenues I've been taught. So if I only see those two avenues, and then I click on the internet and I see Smokey Norfolk holding his son, whoa, I don't have a place to put that. I don't got a place to put that. It can't be, it's not violent. He ain't wrestling with him. And please don't tell me it's sexual. I'm not gonna say that. So this don't compute for me, right? That's where people's mind went. Anybody who had an objection to that, that's where their mind goes. So imagine in that scenario where your mind goes every day. If you're raising a boy every day, your child comes to you. Let's say 20% of the time they need some physical affection. And all they get from you is a fight, a play fight, or go see your mama. Go play, go fight, go play fight, or go see your mama. So what did they just learn? After years and years of that, what did they learn? Okay, well, men don't cry. Men don't get emotional. And men don't touch each other. My father never touched me, so unless we about to wrestle, fight, we ain't touching each other. If it ain't one of them two things, then you must be saying I'm gay, and I've been taught that that's bad. So now we got a problem, and now maybe I will fight you. Oh, because hey, I ain't got but two languages. Come on, I ain't gonna talk to you about it and dig through this stuff. I ain't gonna try to see where we all might be biased in here. Nah. Yeah. So that's how we get here, man, over and over. And listen, there's plenty of reasons why. So do not please don't chime in the comments saying, listen, this is the reason why. I know there's a reason why. Listen, the number one human skill, the one thing that men and women are better at than any other animal, than any other being, is rationalizing our behavior. Somebody says, hey, you do this and it's toxic. You do this and it's foul. Our number one trait, the thing we best at, man, we the Michael Jordan, we the LeBron James of coming back saying, hey, but because, only reason was because, but that's our thing. That's what we do. And that's the reason why we get stuck. We mistake prone, and mistakes is okay. You keep doing them because you rationalize them. I keep doing them because I rationalize. That's why I got this forum, so we can all talk. This forum ain't about me saying I know what I'm talking about and y'all need to listen to me. This forum is about, look, we all struggling with this. Let's talk about it. We all struggling with this. Let's talk about it. Yeah. I talked on the last video about my father, my experience with my father. I never knew the feeling of physical affection from my father. From my mom, I got a lot of it. You know, she would always hold me. My dad, not so much. No. Circumstances, yeah, there was reasons. Ton of reasons. You know, divorce is one of them, so he didn't have many chances to. All right. Another one is he was old school. He was born on a farm in Alabama in 1927. You know what I'm saying? In those older generations, things like emotional needs, you know, the world was so much colder. Things like emotional needs had to go on the back burner a lot. You know, they got back burner. And I'm not saying that's not something that doesn't make sense. That makes complete sense. But if I stand to you right now in 2020, 2021, telling you this is a whole new world. And if you living right now, if you breathing and you watching this video, then you live in a world where emotional needs are at the forefront. This is not a farm in Alabama in 1927. All right? So we can grow, man. This is how we got here. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's anybody else can chime in with many more ways of what they saw, experience of what they saw, of what they feel of how we got here. It's what I experience and what I see of how we got here. And I say we, and I mean we, collective we, all of us. And we also can grow out of it. We got the key. We don't need to wait for nobody. We have the key to solve this. We got the key to open up and let God shine light, right? We have it. You know, God said, if my people who are called by my name will repent, turn from their wicked ways. So we got to make that turn. We got to know who we are, know who's calling us, who he is to us, who we are to him, and turn. You know, that's how we unlock this thing. Yo, I want to talk. Earlier in the video, I said I was going to split out, you know, how we raise daughters from how we raise sons. I'll talk about daughters on the next one, man. Thanks for coming in and chopping it up with me, man. Click down below and comment if you feeling any of this. If you got any thoughts about it, man, let me know what you're feeling. If you agree, disagree, want to chime in on some things, let's grow. Let's chop it up in the family room, man. Yo, visit my sponsors, man. They'll get you right. All right. I appreciate y'all. Click like, click subscribe. If y'all feeling this that way, you know, you'll get to know when I got a new video up. And it really helps my numbers, so I know exactly who's watching and what topics y'all want me to hit, man. I love y'all. Thank you for joining me. 1.